festivities. And today's event, as you're all aware, is brought to you by Aspire for Her in collaboration with ServiceNow, with the aim to build a pipeline of diverse talent for ServiceNow and highlight the organization's diversity-friendly and employee-friendly policies to our community. As you're all aware, at Aspire for Her, we have a mission and vision of getting 1 million women in the workforce by 2025. And as part of fulfilling the vision, we seek partnerships of forward-looking organizations who seek to improve gender diversity in the country. Okay, small question in the chat box. Let's see how many of you are attentive. Which is the organization today that we have got? Okay, come on, folks. ServiceNow, Asma, 100 marks. Okay, this is good. Arjun, thank you so much. ServiceNow is the organization that we are talking about. Lovely to hear this from all of you. Today's event is a fireside chat, and we have some wonderful leaders from ServiceNow, like Sunila Pothula, who's the Senior Manager Software Engineering, and she has joined all the way from the US. She is jet lagged. It's 3 a.m. in the morning when she's got up. Thank you so much, Sunila, for joining us. She is accompanied by Rupa Kadiawala, Senior Manager Platform Experience Product. To moderate this event, we have no other than Salina Bimal, who is the Senior Director, Technology Recruitment at ServiceNow. The last couple of days, you have seen probably very, very inspirational stories of some of the leaders who are from ServiceNow. We had Pallavi, we had an ally like Sumit Mathur, and of course, Rupa's story, which personally touched me also a lot. And it is really an honor and pleasure to welcome her. Before we start with the event, I know the entire community of ours is very well versed with the housekeeping rules, but I have to announce it because it's very important. Do let us know your presence, participate in the polls, keep your questions ready. At the end of the session, all your questions will be answered, but kindly be patient till then. You all know we are actually on Zoom. This is online mode. There could be chances where the links could break and people might just move out of the room, but kindly be patient because everybody is here. There's a lot in store for what is going to happen in this session. Be engaged, curious, and respectful. Let's make it a little bit more engaging. And I'm going to ask very simple question. Where is ServiceNow headquartered? So may I ask Preeti to share the slide? I'm going to give you the option so that you don't have to search on the net. Preeti, can you share the screen? Otherwise, everybody's going to be searching there. And you can put the answers in the chat box. Okay. Where is ServiceNow headquartered? Can I see the answers? Chats? Anybody who wants to take a chance? Yes, California is absolutely correct. Thank you. Let's move on to the next question. And this is just to give a set a little background about ServiceNow. What was ServiceNow formerly called? Let's start seeing. Anybody new who wants to try? D, Service Post. Anybody else? Servicer. Okay, I think you've got enough time to see it on the internet. B is absolutely right. It's GlideSoft. Thank you so much. Thank you, Preeti. I think we'll just go with 2 so that we can start into the session. Okay, and now we will move on. And there is another question, but I will get it a little later after we finish the entire event. Our first poll, it's very important to know the audience. So I'm requesting all of you to kindly let us know which of these describes you the best. Are you a student in college? Are you an emerging professional at Aspire for Her? Are you a professional in technology, a woman leader, return to work, entrepreneur, or any other? Please start putting in the poll, give us your feedback. And of course, before we get into the event, we also want to know, what are you here for today? Do you want to know more about ServiceNow as an organization, the opportunities, or the diversity-friendly policies? I hope you're filling in the polls. I'm requesting.
Ma'am, poll disappeared.
Okay. I will request the team to launch the poll again if that is possible. Okay, there it goes. Do we still have the poll going on? Sorry, I can't see because I've already filled the poll.
Yes, polls are up.
Okay, so Farisha, can you tell me a little bit about the polls? Which is the community which you see where women have joined us from?
Second.
It's primarily
58% from return to work.
Okay, fantastic. And the second one?
Around 80% to know if there are any opportunity available to apply at ServiceNow.
Excellent, because there are going to be some opportunities, so kindly be patient. With this, we'll get into the session. And before we move on to the session, I'd like to invite our founder and CEO, Madhura Dasgupta Sinha, the woman behind the mission and vision of Aspire for Her. It's not just a mission, but it's also a revolution, as I might call it now. And Madhura, we'd like to hear it from you about Aspire for Her. What is it that prompted you to start Aspire for Her? And what are the numbers you're seeing? While I'm aware of the numbers, I think it's very important for others also to resonate. So over to you. And I want to tell this to the audience that no matter how many times Madhura comes here, it's always a motivation. I do know the numbers, but I would like to hear it again. Over to you, Madhura.
Thank you so much, Ruchita, and a really warm welcome to my friend Salina and to the wonderful colleagues who I'm meeting for the first time, but definitely not for the last time, Sunila and Rupa. ServiceNow, I heard of ServiceNow for the first time a few years ago. And, I was wondering what they do because all I heard was it's a digital workflow company. But what I realized is that they're truly a unique company. They try to ensure that the employee experience, as they navigate through the multiple layers of software, of hardware, of all kinds of legacy systems, they try to improve the employee experience and they try to ensure that customers get what they want. It took me a little while to understand how exactly that happens. But one of your wonderful colleagues actually took the trouble to explain it to me. And that's when I was absolutely amazed. So it is truly a unique organization. And not just for the work that they do, but also for the team members, also for the people who are the leaders at ServiceNow. And you are seeing three of them over here, three very wonderful specimens of ServiceNow leadership right here in front of you. First of all, a warm vote of thanks to Salina Bimal. Salina has been supporting Aspire for Her ever since she got to know about our vision and mission of adding 1 million women to the workforce by 2025. Our mission is very simple. We want to ensure that every woman in India is financially independent. We want to create a generation of women who are comfortable managing their own money and spending it as they like. We want to do this by using the power of communities and networks. And what makes us absolutely thrilled is that we have just crossed 3,15,000 community members at Aspire for Her just a couple of days ago. Now, this would never have been possible without our wonderful team, some of who you know, our Chief Growth Officer, Ruchita, Preeti, Shubha, Bhavesh, and a lot of our team members who are working day in and day out to actually make this a reality. And we can't do this alone. We need forward-looking organizations. We need diversity-focused organizations who come to our platform, who open their doors, and they tell the women, we welcome you. And one such organization is here with us today. We've been reading about them. We've been reading about their leaders on social media. And personally, I have been impressed. I've also been motivated and feel very optimistic that there are so many organizations coming forward to say that we welcome more women in our workforce. We welcome more women to come in and join us, to add to the diversity, to add to the new perspectives of thought and action. So thank you very much, Salina. Thank you very much, Rupa and Sunila, for making the time to spend with our community here today and open up new opportunities at ServiceNow for them. I'm sure that they will be impressed not just with the kind of roles that you have. And I happen to have seen some of them in generative AI and UI, UX and sales and business development, very, very exciting roles. But they will also equally be thrilled to see the kind of people that they will work with. Thank you so much. And over to you. Back to you, Ruchita.
Thank you so much. And of course, for the audience, I did not introduce myself because all of you know me by now. Thank you, Madhura, for actually getting that out. I'm Ruchita, also the Chief Growth Officer at Aspire for Her. Moving on, I'd like to introduce and really have the honor and privilege to introduce a wonderful human being, a wonderful person, Salina Bimal, Senior Director, Technology Recruitment. She has been a leader with 18 plus years of experience in setting up talent acquisition and talent management strategies, processes, systems, and policies for IT product, captive, and services organizations. Experience in translating business strategies to workforce plans, building employer branding, university relations, and contingent workforce programs. Proven leadership skills, having built and managed high-performing recruitment teams across multiple locations. And I cannot agree less on it because, Salina, we have seen you over the last couple of years and seen the transformation that have been in the organization.
Don't play with him then.
Can I request, Parisha, can you mute? Yes. Thank you so much. So over to you, Salina, for taking this forward, and welcome once again to the team of ServiceNow to Aspire for Her. Over to you, Salina.
Thank you, Ruchita. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Madhura and Ruchita, basically to give us Aspire for Her, that this particular platform to ServiceNow, and for this opportunity to host this fireside chat for this beautiful audience. We're truly grateful for actually how you use the power of communities and enable more and more women to enter and thrive in the workforce. Like you, I'm very passionate about bringing women back into the workforce, having them thrive and build their career and build financial independence as they move into and see success in their journey. So I won't take too much time. I'll just take a minute to basically, my introduction is already done, so I don't have to talk about myself. For those of you who are new to ServiceNow, we build products that help our customers of every size in every industry to work smarter, faster, and better by digitizing and automating siloed processes. And we offer a platform to a fast-changing world to optimize processes and work more intuitively and create new values. Our values guide us to always do the right thing in our ambition to be the defining enterprise software company of this 21st century. DESCO 21C, you will see it in our vision statements everywhere, and we all contribute towards that vision. Today, joining me in this conversation are two amazing women technologists that I'm a big, huge fan of. Let me start with Rupa. Rupa, I don't know how you can come into the spotlight so people can see her. Rupa Kadiala, she's Senior Manager, Platform Experience Product Management at ServiceNow. She comes with over 20 years of overall IT experience. As a consultant of over 16 years, Rupa was responsible for delivering several large-scale custom enterprise-level implementations from inception to maturity within the US public sector. Her first project, which is called the DC One App system, actually processed over $150 million grant within the first 10 years of inception. Won the 2006 Best of the Web Digital Education Achievement Award in the US federal government. At ServiceNow, I think she's been with us for over 4 years now. She's been part of the platform experience product team. She's responsible for multiple large-scale and impactful platform products. Service Portal and Next Experience are two of those such products. Service portals are used more than 90% of our customers. That's like over 9,500 companies with a monthly active usage of over 150 million users. So you can imagine the scale of operations for those particular product. The Next Experience product, Rupa's team actually builds building blocks of common, generic, reusable UI components that empower and inspire customers to build modern and intuitive world-class web experiences that allows for productivity gains, which is obviously at the heart of every digital transformation. Rupa is also passionate about causes supporting women in workplace. She recently led a panel, and we were together for that. That again, recently had led a panel discussion in the NASSCOM Women Product Champions Roadshow at Hyderabad. Also joining us today from California, I think Santa Clara, is Sunila Putula. Sunila, are you there? Wave of hand. She's Senior Manager, Software Engineering at ServiceNow, with over 17 years of experience in managing high-performance, execution-oriented teams. She's passionate about building scalable end-to-end enterprise applications in a fast-paced environment. She's currently leading the text-to-flow and other workflow automation teams of ServiceNow India, and is responsible for delivering next-gen features. She also leads numerous initiatives within ServiceNow. WIN is one of the examples. WIN is Women Inclusion and Networking. Another one is Code Diva, which is a hackathon for encouraging women participation in technology space. Tech Thoughts, which is a space for tech discussions, talks, workshops, and is also part of the product lab teams. Thank you, Rupa and Sunila, for joining this session. I'm just going to get started. Rupa, this is to you. We do see an increasing pool of women in leadership roles in ServiceNow, you both being shining examples of ServiceNow leading the way. How has your journey been with ServiceNow in terms of culture, diversity, and how have male allies and mentors supported you in your journey within ServiceNow?
Yeah, thank you, Sabina, for the wonderful introduction, and Aspire for her. I'm super honored to be here. I think what I can say first, to start off with, ServiceNow has an incredible culture. We value being humble and hungry. That's at the core of everything that we do. We are very customer focused. We operate with empathy and trust. So that sums up everything as it relates to how we innovate, how passionate we are with the work that we do. We have an incredible set of talented, committed professionals, all dedicated, that come from diverse backgrounds with different personal, professional journeys, and are drawn together to our company's common purpose of building amazing products that provide value to our customers. We invest in the growth of development of leaders. Me personally have seen firsthand what a huge difference it made for me. I started out as an IC when I joined ServiceNow, and within 4 years, I've grown to a manager and then now senior manager, and growing even further to explore bigger opportunities within the platform space. But however, you have to be intentional, you have to have a plan and work hard and know where you want to go to. And that doesn't happen alone. It happens with the team that you're working with. It happens with a network of allies that you build to help you to grow and explore those opportunities. And a lot of times what we see as we join, into the workforce is especially applicable to women, I think. we go through a career without having a good coach or a mentor that are actually critical for building our careers and provide that required guidance. And most of the times we feel stuck, right? So what's important, very critical, is not just the work that you do and how good you do, is to build those sponsors or network of allies that can help improve your overall skills and help you navigate your growth. So you should be able to, build a strong set of advisors. I personally have a network of board of advisors, as I call them, that I reach on to, that are my thinking partners. They are PM leaders in the industry, very seasoned. And you need folks like that challenge you and help you grow. In ServiceNow, we also have several mentorship programs. There's a special program that I was fortunate enough to be part of, which is the leadership track, wherein we are paid with senior VPs and in product management, and they work closely with you to provide the mentorship and help you with improving your leadership skills that prepare you to take on bigger opportunities or bigger responsibilities, in addition to a company-wide mentorship program that we always have. Yeah.
Thank you, Sunila. So, I think you've touched upon valuable inputs there, mentors, coaches, having sponsors for you as you grow along in your journey. Sunila, we always hear about as women in the workforce, the challenges and biases that women face at workplace, right? I'm sure in your journey, you would have also come into some of these challenges, right? Can you delve a little into the common challenges and biases that women face at the workplace, and how have you overcome some of these challenges? And maybe also talk through how does ServiceNow as an environment create equal opportunities to all employees?
Yeah, sure. So firstly, I would like to acknowledge that women, not only in ServiceNow, but across the business world, right, often face a lot of challenges and biases at work. So this has also thankfully changed a lot compared to when I started my career 17 years ago versus now. I see a lot of improvement happening because of there's a lot of movement across the industry and women raising their voices and male allies coming together to make things better at every course of work. So these things have improved and definitely changing, but that doesn't mean they're not there anymore. So there are two factors which I generally have observed and faced throughout my career. One is the external kind of biases in everyday interactions, where we see like the most common gender pay gap kind of situations, or lack of representation in leadership roles, or very subtle biases which happen in your daily walk of life at the coffee machine or something like that, right? When you have those interactions, these are the external biases, and we have a lot of work being done in these. And the other most important thing, which I think personally for me, was internal biases, which I imposed upon myself. Like in my these starting years of the career, I always dwelt with, I would say, like a lot of issues, but if I want to broadly segregate for the benefit of the group which is attending here, I think there was self-doubt which I had to deal with, right? So it's really important for each of us to recognize and acknowledge self-doubt. I think that's the first step. We tend to generally underestimate our abilities. We fear we are not as qualified as our male counterparts, and we always have this essential need to impress rather than to express, right? There's a lot of stress which goes into it, and there is a lot of pressure which comes in with the self-doubt. And whenever you are experiencing that, I really encourage you to not think that you're not experienced enough. Remind yourself of all the accomplishments you have gone through over the course of years, and seek mentorship if you are not feeling confident enough. And perfectionism, I think women really deal with this thing that everything has to be perfect. And the first step for me was recognizing it doesn't have to be. As long as I give my 100%, as long as I strive to deliver a perfect product, it's okay if it's slightly imperfect, because with feedback and collaboration, we will get it there. Imposter syndrome, this is one thing which I really want to talk about, because sometimes women have this feeling that, okay, do I even deserve this? Am I worth it? Is it just luck? Remember, guys, if it has been happening over the years again and again, it's not luck, right? I mean, you are getting there because you have the talent and you are qualified enough to be there. So I think internally, it's really important for us to come out of the biases which we impose upon ourselves, put ourselves out there, show up and speak up. And that's where is the first step which we always take. And apart from that, I'm sure there are external aspects as well. And coming to my journey at ServiceNow, how ServiceNow also has a lot of programs currently which helps deal with biases. We are very much involved in providing common ground for all kind of employees, which ensure equal opportunities irrespective of the gender, right? It's not just women, but ServiceNow is very much focused on giving equal opportunities to all genders. We have a robust diversity and inclusion initiatives, few of which Rupa touched upon, and I'm sure the other initiatives Selena will touch upon too. And there are very clearly set diversity goals. We are also meeting the equal pay at work establishments. If I have to just see, I joined ServiceNow 5 years ago, and when I joined, there was not even a single woman director within ServiceNow, right? Like, and now if I see, the numbers are much, much more. And we also have a couple of senior directors. Salina is an example here. So things are changing for positive, and companies like ServiceNow are really taking all it takes, putting their heart and soul, I would say, into making things better. But that's not enough. We also need to internally fix the bias which we impose upon ourselves, and we need to just get going. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Sunila, for that. I think the whole organization, if I can add to it, the whole intentional approach towards diversity and the commitment that diversity does bring in diverse perspectives into the company, which fosters innovation, and the belief from the top down approach that we have just makes us grow faster and bring in more people from various diverse communities, not only gender, but various talent pools that we're looking at. I looked at, you rightly, all of us go through this internal bias that only we can solve for. Right, recognizing and acknowledging them is sort of moving forward with us ourselves. I just want to shift gears a bit, and I want to ask the two of you, tell us all a little about the products and things that you work on, and what are some of the exciting projects at ServiceNow that each of you are looking for. And this is for both of you, if you can take turns.
Sure. Yeah, I think this is a very good time to ask this question. There's a lot of hype going around. I'm sure everybody knows ChatGPT has transformed the way we look at things, and it's AI everywhere. I mean, ServiceNow is not behind. We are also making a lot of progress in the AI world. But apart from AI also, I think our products are primarily focused on low-code, no-code initiatives, data democratization, and real-time data. I personally am very much involved in the AI and low-code, no-code platforms. So basically, I lead the Flow Designer team and also the Workflow Automation Suite, part of the Workflow Automation Suite of ServiceNow, right? So yeah, I think these are the major areas, I guess, which we are focusing on. And there are various industries other than that which we cater to. But in the artificial intelligence world, we are also making a lot of progress with GenAI. Recently, we kind of announced text to code and case summarization products. So how are we achieving this? Maybe I'll cover a little technically on this, and then probably Rupa, you can take the product side of it, right? So for doing these aspects, right, like we have our own internal ServiceNow homegrown large language models. So these large language models are based on star coder, and then we are fine tuning those to cater to our specific requirements. So then it's not a very generic, but the large language models are very specific and catered to each customer's needs. So that when we know, like, if it is very specific and trained to solve a specific problem, it's better. And also we are partnering with NVIDIA and Hugging Face, these AI companies. NVIDIA is really great at building and developing these high scale GPUs, which are very much needed for training of the models and building that whole infrastructure. So with these in mind, we also have like a lot of roadmap ahead in various aspects. So what the goal of ServiceNow is to make, actually we're a platform of platforms, right? So we would like to empower all the technology group out there to build whatever they want and not be dependent extensively on the niche talent, in the sense you don't have to be a super high star coder to be able to build something on ServiceNow. Like we cater to the low code, no code developers as well. And bringing AI here is giving a very guided and, you know, directional help. I would say AI is not here to replace the engineers, but give a direction and accelerate their time to value and help them achieve more in what they can achieve in less amount of time, right? So to be able to work at ServiceNow and be part of these amazing engineering group and build various products, right? I think our engineers are generally very proficient in various programming languages. We also have a stack of engineers who work on UI and web development and backend like relational databases, Node.js, and people are proficient in the Now platform themselves, on the cloud services and all of these. So bringing all these group of talent together, I think it's a mix of bringing all of them together to deliver these high quality products, which we do here at ServiceNow from an engineering standpoint.
Rupa.
And I can add to that. And generally, you know, with the past that we had with AI, there's always been this other factor that people think that, you know, AI, there's a popular misconception that AI is here to take jobs or displace humans. And but the reality is it's the greatest opportunity that our generation are able to see. AI is going to augment and automate our work so that, you know, we are more productive, we're more efficient. It's not here to replace the work that we do. So just putting that lenses is very important to how we do things through AI. We've introduced AI Lighthouse program that brings together ServiceNow Enterprise Automation Platform and NVIDIA's ASU supercomputing and software, combined with Accenture's consulting and deployment services to help customers create new generation of you know, use cases and solve problems quickly to realize the value of this transformative technology. I think it's one of the first of kind collaboration that helps customers unlock their potential and see productivity gains. Now, putting AI aside, let me talk about some of the other exciting opportunities that we from the platform experience team are exploring. We obviously look at trends and landscape of experiences, what we can do better to excite our customers, build more, you know, intuitive, innovative products, right? What we are seeing is a trend of rapidly changing demographics. What do I mean by that? By 2025, Gen Z and millennials are expected to form more than 63% of our global labor force. So they're more likely to use immersive technologies at work, and they're going to have more choices, and they would like to use devices of their choice when they do work and things like that. So these are some areas that we're looking to explore, and this is a very exciting place to be, especially in the platform experience team, how we can make things better for our customers through the experiences that we build. Now, some of the skills that we look for while hiring for platform is unique in the sense we need someone who is very customer centric, but with strong functional expertise, who understands design thinking methodology, has a little bit of web development experience, and most importantly, brings platform thinking mindset. What is that? They have to have the ability to think across domains, be a generalist while assessing the value impact of a product or a feature at a platform level. That's what distinguishes a platform product manager. They obviously have to have problem solving skills, critical thinking skills, and the ability to clearly articulate and present complex ideas when you're a product manager. You wear multiple hats. You get to do many things, working with cross-functional teams, collaborating tightly with engineering, design to bring your vision to reality. And most importantly, we look for a culture fit. We really take pride with the culture that we have here at ServiceNow, and we make sure that we create an environment that fosters that collaboration and empowers teams. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for that. I'm not going through chat, but I could see some questions popping up, and hopefully Ruchita will take this up later. But just to address some things that I could just see, there are several jobs that are available with ServiceNow. Do go through the career page. And not only in technology, we have sales roles, go-to-market teams, which they hire for sales. We have other functions like finance, HR, etc. In addition to a lot of technology roles that are open. I'm just going to bring the conversation sort of back to the population, majority of the population here in this audience. And a lot of them are sort of returning back to work or wanting to return back to work. I just feel that women, the early years of a woman's career, and having gone through it myself, are critical, and the crucial junctures, as this is when a lot of us, especially in India, tend to step out of the workforce owing to multiple reasons and sort of conflicting priorities between work and life events that come in. So, we, like Sunila mentioned, we don't have to be perfect at everything. We don't have to step out. We can continue with some support systems that are available. I think ServiceNow policies also help, especially women. Our policy on flexibility, for example, allows us to make the most of our life at work and at home. And this flexible work, with this flexible work model, right? Juggling home and work can be really tough, and especially tough for women. So I think we really benefit from the various benefits of flexibility that the company provides, be it paid parental leave or generous family leave or flexible personal time off, and so many other resources that just helps us to be so productive at work, that also balance our lives. And that sort of brings me to, as working women, there's a lot on women's plates every single day, not only at work, but also at the home front. How real is burnout for women? And both of you have, cutting edge careers that you are both, having. So how real is burnout for you, and how do you personally deal with the stress that comes up with these multiple priorities that we juggle through the life? Rupa, do you want to share some insights from your life and your personal ways of dealing with it?
Yeah, this is a very real thing. I think not spoken often enough, but happens quite a bit unnoticed. It's very important to understand what burnout is. I think it happens when you're attempting to do a lot all at once, not realizing that it's actually not you who has to do everything. You can reach out to your friends or family or co-workers that can do some of that, right? So as an individual, you have a limited capacity. It's very important to pace yourself. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Your career is going to last over the years. If you're new in career, you have to be mindful of that. As working moms, even more mindful, because now you have additional responsibilities of taking care of child, family, work, and doing it all together at the same time is not easy. So you don't want to think falsely that you're alone and you have to do it and you have to be perfectionist, as Sunila and Selena were pointing out, right? But first, it starts with recognizing the signs of burnout. What does that mean? Some sort of lack of control, right? You start feeling that you're losing control of things. Or you could be, you might land up in a situation where you're not able to accomplish your tasks in the time that you want to, which then builds upon and leads to more stress. So once it starts happening and more of that, you need to be mindful of that. And then you need to start pacing yourself. You need to know that there is only so much energy that you have, and you need to start reaching out to people and asking for help, which is perfectly fine. And also you need to, along with that, understand that you need a support system. You need a support system at home. You need a support system at work. You cannot do it all. So that's very important. I think fundamentally we have to address that. And I try to do that. I'm very, very mindful and very intentional about how I organize my time to deal with the stress, because sometimes, there are things that you can control, things that you cannot control. So you have to be very careful in how you recognize things when they start happening, and you cover that time to recharge yourself, exercise, or, have that quiet time in the mornings. And more importantly, I think as you take on more and more responsibilities in your career, have a strategy, have clarity in what you must deliver and what you have to do versus what can be delegated to others, and stop filling cracks for others and start making efficient use of your time. That's very important. Whether it is at home or work, you have to learn to acquire that skill. And more so, start triaging your work. Learn to say no when you need to say no, and yes to things that really matter. And along with that, try to have a predictable routine to the extent that you can, and try to stick to it. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Sunila, any
Yeah,
additional
very
thoughts?
well said, Rupa. Actually, I thought I managed my burnout well, but some of the points you brought up got me thinking, oh, I could have said no there, right? Like, it's always learning. I mean, I just love that about these panel discussions. I come prepared. I think of all my past experiences, and then I come here and I listen to one of you guys, and I'm like, oh, I should get better there, right? Like, yeah, thanks for tickling that nerve in me. Okay, yeah. So for me, yeah, again, burnout is very, very real, and more so for women, like I said, because we have that somewhere need to prove ourselves before the others in the company take us seriously or stuff like that. And we also have very less people to look up to, because I mean, again, if I see how many directors are there in ServiceNow versus male versus female, or senior directors, male versus female, right? So if I want to go and reach out to someone, share what I'm going through, experience, sometimes maybe in my immediate leadership chain, I may not even have someone I can relate to. When I do not have someone I relate to, either of two things can happen, right? I might feel I'm doing something wrong because I'm different, or I might feel that I need to emulate the other people who I am working with daily, be one of the guys. And then I'm not one of the guys. I am a woman, and I come here, I bring a whole set of my own talents and positives onto the table, which are equally good, if not better. And then when I'm trying to fit in, be someone who I'm not, that's where I think there's this added extra stress which comes up. And then it becomes difficult. So it's really important for each one of us to find someone who we can relate with, build that network where you can share each other's experiences, discuss the issues which we are facing on a day-to-day life, and learn from each other's experiences. And that's really, really important. So apart from that, I think another important thing which we are, I guess, not good at, but we are getting better at, is to delegate and empower, right? So let's just take our home example before we get to work. Like, I personally kind of delegate everything at home, which I don't have to be physically doing it. Like, okay, again, it's different for every one of them. This is just my example, right? I don't have to cook, so I can get help there. But the dinner time, family time together is probably more important for me. So I need to ruthlessly prioritize within that limited amount of time what is adding more value to my family and what is maybe not adding as much value. Delegate the things for which I don't have to be physically present every time, but then take the most advantage of the time which is adding more quality rather than the quantity on the time I'm spending. So this is just an example of home, right? But similar thing works at work as well. So I'm an engineering manager, engineer at heart. I was an IC4, then manager and all of that. So that means it doesn't mean every technical problem I have to be there. Every technical design and architecture I have to sign off. No, it's really important for me to trust my IC5s, trust my IC4s, and then guide them if they're going in the wrong direction. But then I don't have to know every single line of code, or be part of every single discussion that's happening. When I build that second layer of support system where my engineers are very strong enough themselves and I empower them to independently go on and take some decisions and proceed, I think that's where I'm freeing up my time to do stuff and think about stuff which my manager is doing, right? So I think that's where we need to create space. And also, I would like to set clear boundaries. This is one of my goals. I wouldn't say I'm great at it, but I'm trying. I'm getting better at it, right? So I generally take out like focus times in the day from my work. Like 6 to 8 is my personal time in the evening. I could do yoga. I'm very much into wellness and diet and all of these, right? So I practice whatever makes me feel better, right? I spend some time doing yoga or spend some time doing with my daughter, my husband. That's purely family time. Unless the world is shaking or falling apart, that time really has to be for yourself, right? You need to be ruthless about prioritizing and setting your clear boundaries.
Yeah.
And then time management. So we kind of tend to creep into all other times. So in the sense, if I kind of set up like I want to spend 2 hours on solving this problem and it's taking time, it's really not easy for each one of us to context switch and then pick up something else immediately from there and then jump into another thing, because we are all humans end of the day. So it's really important for us to give that dedicated focus time where you are able to give your 100%, complete that particular aspect and move on to the other one. If you are creeping into multiple things and doing too much context switch, what's happening is your valuable time is getting wasted and you're spending more time doing the same thing where it would have been finished in 1 hour 15 minutes. But then if you have to revisit it after 2 hours, then you again have half an hour to get into the context, and that's where you lose a lot of time. So time creep is something which I'll really watch out for. But other than that, I think Rupa already very nicely covered most of the other aspects.
As I was listening to the two of you, there's so much learning that goes on just by sharing. The only other additional tip that I can give is that we sort of hesitate from asking for help. We always fear that asking for help means the other person is actually judging you. Not really. So ask for help. There is no reason why we cannot be vulnerable. We are not expected to know everything. So I think that's the only additional tip that I would want to share here. And there's so much learning that is going on from each other. And I'm taking tips away for myself. Yeah, looking at the time, I do really want to thank the two of you for taking this time out and also sharing your journeys, your tips, and your own experiences to this audience. And I'm going to hand it over back to Ruchita. Over to you, Ruchita. Thank you both.
Thank you so much. And
Pleasure.
this was a very, very interesting conversation. But besides that, what I saw in all of you is the pride of being a part of ServiceNow. And that clearly shows the organization. And thank you so much for sharing the tips, because Rupa, mentoring is something very strong at Aspire for her. And we encourage women to go ahead with mentoring. And for Sunila, express over impress is something that I have seen, which really has, made a deep impact. And I'm sure it's the same for the community. So moving on, we have come to a very interesting part. And let me ask a small question to the audience and just understand one thing. So what you've seen of ServiceNow, is there something that you really have taken away, or the kind of culture that you have seen? Because I'm moving on to the next part, and that is going to be an opportunity for the community where they can take jobs. What do you all think of ServiceNow? there is one sense of pride which the entire organization has, and which is that they have had zero layoffs. And I think that's a very, very big statement. And with zero layoffs, they have also promised. So there are going to be job opportunities. Bill McDermott, chairman and CEO of ServiceNow, promised zero layoffs during the pandemic, and the company stood very, very firm on that. It's amazing. Now they are looking at growing the community and to make the world work, as they say. So for the participants, anybody who's interested in joining ServiceNow, you want to join and thrive at ServiceNow, live the best life, do the best work. You can see some of the top leaders sharing their journey. They are currently hiring in Gen AI, code engineering, UI and UX development, sales and business domains. I'm requesting the team to share the links in the chat box so that anybody who is interested can actually go and apply. And you don't have to worry, because these links are also going to be shared with the participants. So if you miss the link over here, it's absolutely fine. Don't be worried. You will get to know about it. I'm going to be now looking at the audience Q&A. And one of the things I think which I would like everybody to also talk about, all the speakers here, there are a lot of women on a career break. Somebody has 5 years of break, somebody has 10 years of break, and they are really looking at making a comeback. Anything in terms of the tips that you would like to share with them? What are the opportunities that ServiceNow is helping with women on a career break? Would anybody like to take the question? All of you would like to share the tips, because there are a lot of questions on working, remote working. Somebody's been a postgraduate in management and is wanting to come back. There are others who've been from engineering and tech, but are looking at opportunities in joining back, considering the fact that there are only 2 locations for ServiceNow. Are there remote opportunities also that ServiceNow wishes to open up?
I'm going to answer that question. We actually believe in 3 kinds of persona, and that depends on the role that a person is performing. One is the fully remote, which is not the most evident opportunity, but the persona who can completely remotely work, and that typically happens with the manager agreeing to that this role can be completely done remotely. And the second persona, which is the most common persona, at least the 3 of us are on that persona, which is the flexible persona, which means that you're tagged to an office, and most of the time you do have the flexibility to work from home. But if there are certain specifics, like a team meeting or customer visits or any of those aspects, you go to the office that you're tagged to. Like I'm tagged to the Bangalore office, and I feel very motivated to actually go to the office. You get to actually meet people in person. I don't go every day, but 1 or 2 days in a week is what we do. I do also travel to Hyderabad quite often, but when I'm there in Hyderabad, I go to office every single day of that particular week, because I get to meet Sunila, Rupa, and a lot of other people in the office. So I mean, these are the 3 personas that we look at. We do open roles which are 100% remote also, but those are roles that are either advertised as remote, or it's upon the hiring manager to define, saying, okay, this role can actually happen completely remote. There are a lot of people who are 100% remote.
Okay, that's wonderful. I also see some women who are actually putting in if there are any positions for women in tech leadership, opportunities in data world.
Yes.
And one thing which I'm actually liking is that most of the women have mentioned what an amazing work culture, place where we will empower ourselves. Sounds like a great place to work as a woman leader. Amazing. The responses are amazing. So anything on women in tech leadership positions?
Yes, we do have. Firstly, all roles are open to women, whether they are leadership roles or any developer roles or sales or any of those roles. all roles are open to all. There are leadership roles that are open right now. So if you have the right qualifications and you match with the experience that we're looking for, go ahead, apply. And we do ensure that at the time, especially at the leadership levels, to make sure that at least a diverse slate is interviewed. Of course, it is the caliber that really qualifies for a particular position. But at the same time, we do intentionally ensure there is a diverse slate being interviewed before a hiring decision is taken in consideration, especially at leadership levels.
Oh, that's fantastic. Before I move on to my next question, also, I'm going to now put the next poll because this is also very important. And while the audience is going to be just putting in the poll, so I'm requesting the team to share the next poll. Are there opportunities for women with non-tech background also?
Yes, there will be functional roles in the areas of finance, operations, HR, which are open. And if people are sales professionals and are in the product world, not necessarily all salespeople are tech background, but if they are in, there are women who are already in the tech selling space, those roles are also open. The understanding of technology domain is very important, and also understanding where our customers come in from. That there are other functional roles also open in the firm. I would suggest keep looking at our career site. All jobs are posted externally and internally. There is not a single role that doesn't get advertised externally. So keep your eyes open. Apply to roles that you feel are matching your profile.
Yeah, I think I would just like to add to that. It's very important for you to find something that you really enjoy, because that's what will help you excel at what you do. You have to enjoy the work that you do. So be very mindful of that, because it's a long career, and transition is always possible, but you have to work at it, upskill yourself. There are plenty of ways you can do that. Learn up new software, technology, whatever space you want to get into, and the transition is possible. You just have to put your mind to it. Yeah.
I am just going to be sharing one last question, and because we're close to the time. I have been using ServiceNow as a platform, always as an end user, really want to delve deeper into ServiceNow admin, ServiceNow development for ITSM, ITOM, ITAM. Is there any opportunity? I have 5 years of experience in infrastructure services. And there's another one which is also similar. No, slightly different, but then we are done with it. Are ServiceNow certifications affordable? Could that help us to get back into the workforce? These are the two questions we have. And I'll just say that I've seen almost close to 50% who want to apply to ServiceNow right now. So that's very good. 83% of the audience is extremely excited, which is fantastic. I think we can end the poll. We have these last two questions, and then I think we can close the session.
Thanks, Ruchita. I'll actually quickly connect on the certification program. I'm going backwards. ServiceNow certifications are important. We have this whole community building program called RISE, which is rising, is to make sure that we have a huge population of ServiceNow certified people available who will work with our partner organizations in terms of implementing ServiceNow products in the customer world. So that's a huge program that's global in nature, and we have separate SPOCs within the firm who are trying to build these communities of ServiceNow certified people who can actually contribute to implementations, etc. And it could also be working through our partner ecosystem. Sunila, Rupa, anything more to add there?
Yeah, to address the question about having admin experience in any of our product suite and then how best you can find an opportunity within ServiceNow, we have what we call solution consultants who are, essentially going into the implementation side, helping our customers implement our solutions in their specific organizations. So that's an area that you could explore when you get the necessary skills. Yeah.
Yeah, on the
And just to
infrastructure
add
side,
one point,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Sunila.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, right, like even if the certifications are, I mean, affordable is a very relative term, affordable or not, you don't have to always go via certifications itself. A ServiceNow's learning and documentation is very vast and available, and anybody can go and spin off a ServiceNow learning instance. Actually, you'll get an instance which is valid for 10 days. You can register itself, get the instance, go through the documentation, start working on it, and build your own small products and build, I mean, like a POC kind of stuff, and start exploring and experimenting with it. So that's also another way. You don't have to, if you don't want to do the certification always.
And the last one, which is the first question, Ruchita, that was on the infrastructure side. Definitely, we do have opportunities in the infrastructure side. In the ITSM, ITOM world. So go ahead, explore opportunities on that space too.
Great. So for the entire audience, we'll share the links where you can go and apply to ServiceNow. Besides that, I think it was a wonderful session. Lovely evening. Thank you, Rupa, Sunila, and of course, Salina.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
And I think Navya, she definitely deserves to be thanked while she's not there today on the scene, but she has been working really hard. With that, I'd also like to thank my team, Preeti, Sneha, Shubha, Doyle, and everyone around. Bhavesh is our new joinee, and everybody has worked really hard towards this session to make it a success. We look forward for more of such engagements to the entire audience. Please follow the Aspire for Her handle to know of any more opportunities and the next sessions that we have stored in store with ServiceNow. And keep checking out. Happy festivities and stay safe. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was amazing. So many new ideas in my head. Thank you.
Bye-bye and have a lovely evening.